I got my new PC today, finally.
Nice.
I got it hooked up. I got to play like I don't know, an hour or something to like kind of see what it would do. That game is so demanding. It will run it at 144 hertz and keep it well above 144 99% of the time. But it's not like it's blowing that game out of the water. And like I could play it in 4K in more than 60 frames or something.
Have you tested out any other games just to see how high quality you can get the graphics?
Well, the graphics settings are always there. You can set it with any system to really high. It's just how many frames you'll get out of it.
Oh, so, sorry, I'm a retard. Not graphic.
No.
The overall video quality. I imagine like you could take those games, you have fun, and then you plug it in again, and you're like, look at this. Now it's as smooth as silk instead of like not.
Yeah, I can turn
any flashes.
Yeah, I can turn all the settings up to ultra and get lots of frames now. But I haven't tried any other games other than Darktide, which looked amazing now that I could turn on all of the like fleshy jibs and stuff. When I've been playing with nothing turned on in like a blank room, and now when you like hit a bad guy in the face, like part of his face comes off, and now you can see like his skull behind it, and he just it's pretty cool. You like hit him in the top of the head, and his like skull kind of crushes in a little bit. It's lots of neat stuff like that I didn't have access to before, I guess.
Are the dark corners of every map even darker?
Well, I've got like the darkness doesn't bother me. I've got like a really nice.
Do the grays pop?
I'm like, wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, I got a good HDR monitor. We're powering through it. I
travel the world of 40k from the spectrum of gray to charcoal.
I like it all dark and evil
I don't.
And terrible.
I think a jungle map would be cool. I know you said that wasn't possible, but there's a million planets, a billion planets. A jungle map could have been possible. Anything's possible in the 40k universe. I watched some of that Luton guy's videos. And like, honestly, I probably spent 2 hours watching like the different jobs ones. Enthralled, really enthralled with it. Like I was on Amazon just like 2 nights ago looking for like a physical book to read about the 40k universe. But it's like the same problem of any big fantasy world where it's like, there's not a canon to start with. There's like a million people contributing to this. And so like what is canon in the game might not be the same thing in these books. And so I looked around, like I stopped looking, but I'm still going to get back into it. I want to find one that's like, if they have like 1,000-page like tome of it, I will read that because it's so interesting.
So I think what you might want is like, I'm gonna get the name wrong, but there are books that are called like the Imperial Guardsman's Compendium or something like that. And it's not a narrative tale. It's more like the Silmarillion in that it's like guardsmen there'll be like a list of prayers, and then there'll be like lists of like how their guns work and like how their ammunition works, and it's like a guardsman's actual manual to some extent. But I like the audio books, and I just sort of pick and choose around. And you're right about the lore and there being no canon, because it would be great to just, all right, look, the Marvel universe, let's start with Iron Man and work all the way through Infinity War. You can't really do that here because the lore, like the greater story that stretches those 40,000 years, I only know like the bits and pieces from because it's pulled from so many sources and they're condensed by somebody like Luton into those YouTube videos, because I'm not going to read 100 books. You know how it's like this. You know how in the Bible, like each of the books, it's the different apostles have like a different spin on what went down. Like one of them will focus a lot more on how Christ, like, I don't know, blessed the guy, but one of them is a lot more focused on why he was blessing the guy than the how. It's a little bit like that. So you're pulling from different sources about the same events, and so even the existence of the emperor and his background of where he came from is it's not nailed down. That I have what I believe based on all the sources I've looked into.
It makes the world cooler. Like I like that about the world.
I like the lore too. Yeah.
It's
the nerdiest thing I like. And
it is so deep. If I wasn't into like 3 other things, this would be the nerdiest thing.
Henry Cavill is super into this shit.
He's the figurine kind of guy though, not even the video games, right?
All of it. He's on fucking Reddit. Like you can see him. They're like, we know you're here, Henry. Keep fighting for us. And I've seen him questioned in interviews about like, oh, which 40k army do you think is the best? And he's like, with his British accent that always takes me off guard, like, oh, well, there's this and that and that and the other. And he's like, he knows so much about it. It's shocking because it's so nerdy. Oh, yeah. It's the height of nerdiness. It really, like, it would be like him like breaking down like Pokemon types and like high end, like oh, see, at the higher levels, that's just not going to cut it. You're vulnerable to plant types.
Yeah. I mean, like, it is jarring to see someone who looks like he does be into something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it just it's almost odd because he's a superstar.
He's the people's fucking
That's got to be awesome to be like into something that much as a millionaire actor and just telling your agent like, I want to be a space marine, and they're like, well, you can play this there's a Lonely Dog's owner who escaped space marine, like, and just like insist on your projects. And then it's like, what am I going to do with my free time? Oh, I'm going to get into this hobby that I can afford anything of. I'm going to have 1 billion figurines and paint all of them. The only thing I know about the figurine games, I've never played one, but I did watch like a 40-minute video of this guy, and he had like a giant table in his basement, and it looks like a bunker. It had every wall from feet to head is just like, oh, do you need wood elves? Oh, but you need wood elves who are wearing this kind of armor to indicate that they are from this specific planet. Well, okay, well, actually, 2 rows down from that, not the standard wood elves. Get the ones that the darker elves, yeah, because they're actually from Boogie Boogie planet, and then not the Mia Mia planet.
Is no one gonna call out Taylor and acting like he doesn't?
You're muted.
With your bad mic.
We lost
skills.
you. We lost you. He's back. I hope.
Change my mic.
Yeah.
Taylor, you have figurine money. I know you do.
I just don't want to get into it.
Man.
No,
please don't get into it. Like that's where I draw the line on the nerdiness.
Troll, that would be the dream, but if only I were Henry Cavill, bro.
But see, but like I'm saying, if this is your brand of nerd, that's a dream. Like me, I like Magic the Gathering, so that would be my thing. If I was a multimillionaire, I'd be buying fucking 4 of every card. I'd go there with a posse and flex on all the middle schoolers at every Friday Night Magic. Play them, and if I lose, it's because I'm a generous guy just trying to help. I'm trying to get people into the habit.
It's really fun to finally be able to max that game out. I'm looking forward, like you said, to trying out some other games and seeing what it'll do.
What are other good ones? Like what's a good game to like push to the limit with it?
Oh, I don't know about that, but Tarkov is very demanding, CPU wise, especially, and I'm sure GPU wise as well. But it's often, I was personally bottlenecked by my CPU last I played it, and this is a much better CPU. It's 3 or 4 generations ahead. It was so funny. My last one, when you start up Darktide, it's like, how many threads do you want to utilize, which is how many cores from your CPU, and it's like 8, we recommend 8. And I'm like, yeah, okay, 8 sounds like a lot. And then I like logged in with this thing, and they're like, we're thinking 28, maybe 30. And I'm like, I didn't know I had so many cores. Amazing. So it's a lot more fun to be able.
I'm glad
to
you're liking
it,
man.
Yeah. It's an expensive toy for more frames per second, but I guess I'm gonna.
Yeah, but now Civ. Civ's gonna look real good.
Age of Empires.
Yeah, Age of Empires.
You play that baby at 900 frames per second.
Thousands of frames per second.
Anything that's got lots. Oh, and I wanted to talk about fucking Darktide quickly, like because the full game released, and it's a real disappointment. It's a real disappointment. The beta was about. Oh, I love the game, but it's not and I love playing the game. But it's an early access game that's been sold. They prioritized an in-game store over keeping their promises to have 70 weapons on release, and along with the classes, there's bugs that ruin certain perks and classes and traits and such that haven't been tended to. The optimization is awful. It crashes a ton for a lot of people. Obviously, I've fixed those issues with a very expensive PC, but not everybody can do that. And worst of all, this is the scummiest thing. Like they are, maybe it's changed since this afternoon, but they promised it was going to be a day one release on the what's the thing Xbox has where you get the Game Pass, the Game Pass or whatever.
Okay.
But it's not on there, and that's what they're referring to as crossplay. By the way, if you bought the thing on the Game Pass on PC, because this game is not on Xbox, and if they ever get to run on the Xbox, I'll be surprised. There's so many Xbox guys on their subreddit being like, "Hey, I can't find it on the Game Pass. Where's it at, guys? Do you have to like go through a folder?" And they're like, "Oh, you poor little man. Were you thinking today was the day that you would be able to play the game with us?" No. No, they think
shitty.
They say someday, soon, you'll be able to play with us. And
isn't the Xbox like the most this new Xbox, like the most powerful console ever by a lot?
Yeah,
and it can't handle it.
Well, I don't know if it can't handle it or if they just haven't gotten around to getting that all sorted. But they promised that it would be like right after the PC versions. That's another like lie if it's not on there. But it not being on the pass for PC users is nonsense. And they said that for some reason, if you bought the game on Game Pass, utilizing that being able to get it for free, that's cross-platform play. They're saying to play with Steam PC players, even though you're both on PC. And that doesn't work, they're saying. I've read that doesn't work, that the PC players, the Steam players can't play with, or the PC players on Steam can't play with the ones who bought it on Game Pass, which is a huge fuck up as well, if that's true. And it's the whole thing's a bit disappointing that
you think they should have pushed it back more because it's still clearly not done?
The worst part, I think, is that they've got that like that monetization's just right in there, right off the bat, working perfectly. Like it's like, oh, you can go right over here right away, and you can like spend your real money and buy coins. And of course, the coins aren't spent in round numbers, so you always have to buy more because you've got leftover coins. Bullshit. Meanwhile, they don't have the full features in the game, like the crafting. You can't craft weapons still. They don't have their weapon crafting in. There's still no leaderboard. Like it's real annoying.
I bought the expensive version of the game, which was only $60, I think, but it came with 3,000 coins. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna come into this game rich. 3,000 coins is fuck all coins. That's like I suck, and I can earn that many coins in 40 minutes, maybe. Go ahead, Kyle. Am I wrong? Do I have this off?
So there's like 4 kinds of currency in the game. So you could be off or on at the same time, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. I had a lot of like the coin you get from missions that you use to buy weapons in that store. I had a lot of that coin. So while they did give me a boost of it that seemed significant, I didn't really notice how much. I think the coins that you might get are the coins you spend in that cosmetic store that are like comparable to real money, that you have to buy them with real money. I think that's what
there's
those
2
coins
types
are
of coins.
That's like $20. I think it's like a $10 or $20 value of that if it's 3,000 coins in that store.
Maybe
15 maybe.
Yeah.
But you can go in there and you can buy like some really cool gear. The stuff that you earn to wear by doing hard things in the game pales in comparison to what $15 will get you. Yeah. I've got a golden skull mask, and fucking like my character's got huge shoulder pads with scrolls rolling off of her everywhere. Cool. Yeah, it's awesome. So no, I love
the
game.
low price of $15.
Yeah, I love the game, and it's like I've been psyched about it forever, and it's like, oh, it doesn't run well. Well, we'll need a new PC. But not if I can.
Kyle's about $4,100 for this game so far.
Yeah,
and there's no leaderboard, and some of the maps don't work apparently.
Like they added 3 maps. The difference here's the thing: the difference between the beta, like the early access beta, and the full release is 3 maps, and I don't remember what else.
That's not a good sign.
No,
and all those seemingly little things they could have fixed aren't fixed. Really disappointing.
Yeah,
very disappointing after being delayed like almost a year to just not fucking get it together in time for release.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you blame the developers or it's really frustrating when they've got like their mouthpiece who's like their representative who's just outright lying for them. His job must suck because they're hitting him with like screenshots. They're like, dude, you said this. And now it's that.
Is he getting like 402'd?
Yeah, for sure.
I never
So,
402. Was that a 420 reference?
No, he was the original community manager, wasn't he? For Call of Duty?
Yeah. But
yeah,
how do
but
you
you're
think he
asking what
chose
the
his name?
significance of 402 is. I always assumed
I thought it was an area code.
like an LA area code or something like that. That maybe meant something to other people, but not to me.
Yeah, he basically got roasted. I am like the Call of Duty community managers would be able to weather the Vermintide storm like it was, a drizzle.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine, just based on how big the games were. Those guys got harassed so bad, the Call of Duty guys. And they never, what I remember with like JD 2020 and 402 is they would like not do the thing that like some community managers do now, which is like, sorry, everyone, this is the situation. We apologize for the delay. And that's all we can say for now. Back then, they'd be like responding to individuals like, I know you're upset. I'm sorry about this. And they're like, so you do admit there's a problem. Like doing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
then what are you apologizing for?
yeah, if you didn't do anything wrong, don't apologize.
We got him, boys.
We made him think apologizing was a good faith measure. No, it was an admission of guilt. now he knows we hate him.
Yeah,
It
so
was
very
so
disappointing.
fucking
So,
toxic.
so all of that stuff I said is very disappointing. I'm sure in time some of it will be addressed, but I would hold off on buying it if you don't have like a cutting edge PC, or you care about any of that stuff I mentioned that's just not in the game. It's still an early access game, and I'm okay with that, but I doubt you shouldn't be.
Yeah, needing a cutting edge PC to even play it marginally is bullshit. That's ridiculous.
I don't know why it's so far behind schedule because they delayed it by a year.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on software projects and I swear half of it gets written in the last month. And I think that's what happened. They're like, oh, it's not fucking done. All right, you have 12 more months. I'm here in 11 months vacation.
Yeah.
And another month to get it done.
Oh, let me give them credit for one thing though. Everyone, a big complaint from the beta players early on, the earliest versions of the beta, was that the weapons didn't have like very detailed statistics for them. They just had this generic number assigned to them along with their rarity. They just had a number that's 250, 327. Nobody knew what that fucking meant. And they were like, well, that number is being divvied up into those yellow bars. Those yellow bars need numbers on them. And I need to know exactly what each one of those bars represent. And they're like, why? It's like, dude, do you like the mod that I used to play on Vermintide showed me such nitty gritty stuff down to decimal points, repeating. And so like they did that. So now when you inspect a weapon, it breaks down like how much damage it does to every enemy in the game on the various difficulties, all of its weapon combos, what it's good at, how those numbers are being integrated into various traits of that weapon, and then explaining what those traits are. Imagine that. They did all of that in the last month or two. But I can see little things where like there's an ability in the game where it's like, hey, would you like a second charge of your power? It's like, yeah, I would. It's clear that initially it was 3 charges because the visual for that, the little whatever you call it, has 3 little dots instead of 2. And like they just haven't gone back to fix that because either they don't know or they're working so hard that they haven't gotten to it. I don't fucking know. It's frustrating though.
Probably the people that can fix the code and the people that can fix the artwork are different people.
I would think so. So like, what's the artwork guy doing today?
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, he's in Oslo right now asleep, but like when he wakes up in a few hours, what's he gonna fucking do?
Not add a scorecard, not add a
make a map,
not make a map. Certainly no jungle maps, apparently.
Any pussy who like gets butthurt over a goddamn scoreboard and doesn't see that as motivation to improve yourself shouldn't be playing a goddamn video game. Like you need a fantasy world. Yeah. like the fantasy world that the rest of us normies go to was too fucking hard for you. So you need a fantasy inside of that fantasy world where like the made up numbers don't even matter.
Every time you get a kill, there's like a VO that's like, wow. Like, oh, nice. Great. You're the best.
This game is appealing to me. I want compliments with every kill.
Call of affirmations over here.
Call of affirmations.
And the game is too hard. I want it to be sort of a field where I just take down flowers.
Yeah, I want the game to be brutally difficult if I want it to be, and I want it to make me feel bad because I am bad, and then I want
With
to
every
try
kill,
hard
I
and
should
improve.
get compliments and rainbows sprouting from the dead flower.
It'll work.
Cocksuckers.
People won't like that though. People want brutality. They want to see how many specials they killed. We don't have to talk about the scorecard yet because we've all gone off on the scorecard
For so many times.
It's not just this game, and it's not just score. It's like all games. They did. I think Battlefield 2042 did something similar where they like did something funky to the scoreboard to appease, the people who play a 45-minute game of Battlefield and don't actually get anything done.
How do you play a whole game? I mean, that's how I would play Battlefield. Like I played once at a friend's house, like whatever one came out in like 2006, and it was just first thing I noticed is the dude breathes like I would breathe when I was running. This guy must have skipped cardio and then like futzed his way through boot camp because the guy used to go and you could hear the clunk, and I remember the movement of the guy running, and all I did was just like run up to a building and get blown up by an IED and then teleport 300 yards away and then huff and puff to my next death. That game sucks. Never got into Battlefield.
It's better if you play
It's not
with
because I was bad.
No, there must be another explanation.
It's because I'm too good for it, and
That's exactly.
Yeah.
So many games I've been too good for.
It's because my talents are better utilized elsewhere. That's why.